My grandma likes to collect pennies, nickels, quarters, and dimes for the grandkids. She'll dig through and find ones with our birth years on them, find ones with different pictures, and keep them all nice and neat in books and jars. And so, in turn, I keep all of the change that I collect over the year in a jar, and even though I live far away now, I still save that change up and I bring it back to her every time I come back to Wisconsin. But why does she do this? Why does she like to collect change? I honestly don't really know, and thinking about it means that I should probably ask her. But I can tell you that I know she has fun doing it. It brings her joy sorting through them and just finding different ones that she didn't have before. Now for me and a lot of other people, StreetPass is kind of like collecting special change. It's a lot of fun to see how many people you can get in your plaza, see if you can find all of the puzzle pieces for the different puzzles in the game, or collect all of the cool hats that are given out once you beat a monster in Find Me. There are all sorts of weird and fun little activities to keep your brain happy and busy in StreetPass. And while none of these things tell an elaborate story or really even feel a lot like a game at times, they're fun activities that can help bring people together. Much like the way my grandma collects change. It causes us to come back around and see her, and when we see change, I think we think of her. And I think that's really why my grandma collects change. I think it's because she loves us kids, and it makes her think of us. She's the best. So a lot of people keep asking me, now that the eShop is gone, does that mean StreetPass on the 3DS is dead? On one hand, StreetPass uses the wireless capabilities of the Nintendo 3DS to transmit data between systems. And unless if Nintendo releases some update for the system or for the software that just prevents the software from now being used, it should be functional forever. As long as a 3DS can work and has wireless capabilities still built into the system, StreetPass will work. But on another hand, StreetPass has been dead for years. Ever since Nintendo released the Switch, a lot of people sort of forgot about the Nintendo 3DS and they haven't been taking them out and about places. I remember when I would go to work, when I would go to a game store or go to a convention, I would always have my 3DS in my backpack, charged up and on. I would probably have the charger with me as well in case if it died. But these days, that's not really the case for most people. But in 2023, things feel different. I think StreetPass is actually coming back to life. And whether that's partially to blame for me, due to the fact that I can't stop talking about it in any shape or form, but I also think StreetPass has you to thank, as without you, StreetPass wouldn't be a thing at all. Now, I'm going to assume at this point you already know what the Nintendo 3DS StreetPass software is. And if you don't, you can actually go check in the description down below. I have a link to a different video where I talked all about it and how I was going to be bringing my 3DS with me everywhere I went in the year 2023. And when I say 3DS, I mean 2DS. Leave me alone. It's fine. I'm sorry. Now, last year, I went to GDC in 2022 in San Francisco. I brought my 2DS with me. I kept it on in my backpack everywhere I went. I even stayed in a hotel, or a hostel rather, with a bunch of other game developers. And I was hoping at this event that I would see tons of different street passes. I hadn't really brought my 3DS with me anywhere since maybe E3 2018. I don't think I brought it with me to 2019. I probably brought my Switch, but I hadn't gotten a street pass in a very long time. And I was expecting to get a lot here. Do you know how many I got? I got like 4. I brought a different 3DS with me, and I can't reference it right now because it's back in Oregon where I actually live, but I did not get many at all. And I was really defeated. I was pretty deflated about that. And then John Cartwright and I, from Good Vibes Gaming, last year, went around in London with Felix from the website here, and we were hoping to find a street pass. And we eventually found one when I left them and went on my way home, but we went everywhere in London and couldn't find one. But then I went to PAX West in Seattle last year in September, and I managed to find quite a few. But one thing I realized there at that event was that I was bugging people before the event to try to bring their 3DSs because I wanted to see how many street passes we could get. But also I found out that Chugga Conroy had also made a tweet encouraging people to bring out their systems and see how many we could get, because we missed the old days. And I think I ended up getting around 20 or 30 at that event. It was pretty surprising. So then 2023 hit, and I told myself that I was going to start bringing it everywhere. When I go to the grocery store, if I go out for dinner with my partner, if I go to a movie. And I tell you what, I did not find many at all. I won't give the exact number yet, We'll have to wait for the end of the year to find that out. But January and February, and even the beginning of March, I had next to no luck, unless if I've been bugging friends. Thankfully, some of my friends did bring their systems out to meet up with me, and I'm very thankful they did, because otherwise it would have been a very sad mission so far. But I've kept at it. I've kept tweeting about it. I've been posting pictures. I talk about StreetPass whenever I can. And then a few weeks ago, I went to a retro game swap meet. This was in Portland, Oregon. But before I went, I noticed that John Riggs and Metal Jesus both had tweeted about StreetPass, and they recommended people bring their systems to the event to give it one last push before the eShop went down. Even the event itself recommended that people bring their systems, and I was so surprised. I ended up getting, I think, around 29 StreetPasses the first day and an additional 10 the second day. I might have even gotten more if I would have actually paid attention to my line, but I didn't. This was insane. This was more than double the amount of StreetPasses that I had gotten in 2 months, in just a 2-day period. But then it gets better. I went to PAX East with Austin, our writer, who you may have seen in a few other videos. We went out there and we actually scheduled a StreetPass meetup in the community room at PAX East in Boston. And now I wasn't expecting a whole lot of people to show up with their systems to this. Earlier in the week, I'd gotten a decent amount of StreetPasses, but I thought that would be the extent of it. I wasn't expecting people to really show up to this event. PAX for the day closes at 6 p.m. This was at 7:30 was when our community meetup was. I was expecting most people to be at dinner, leaving for the day. I wasn't expecting people to be there. But I was completely wrong. It was hard to get an exact number, but around 100 people showed up to this event. We had scheduled this event about a week prior. I had made a graphic for it on the airplane. We didn't have a whole lot of time to promote this event, and that many people actually showed up just for StreetPass. Even my friends Bob Wolf and Wood Hawker showed up to support the event and see what kind of pull we would get with StreetPass. And Wood had never actually StreetPassed before, so this was his first time really getting to try it out. There were people walking around their room with their 3DS just trying to, get more StreetPasses. They were having fun with it. At one point, there was a table of people playing a little Mario Kart 7 group race. And there were people sitting on the ground and in chairs talking with people and making new friends. It was really special. It was so cool. I couldn't have asked for a better turnout. And all the footage that you see on screen here as well was taken by Wolf Den. I'm so thankful they showed up, really. Please go check out their channels. You probably already know who they are, but still, go subscribe. Now, unfortunately, Nintendo has taken down the eShop at this point, as we've already mentioned. And what that means for StreetPass is that you can no longer buy the VIP badge, which actually gives you an extra line that allows you to throw extra people in. Normally in StreetPass, you can only have 10 people at your gate at a time. In the line, you can throw up to an additional 90 people in there. There's also extra achievements and rewards that you can get by having that VIP badge. And there's a ton of other mini games that you can actually play with StreetPass as well that you no longer can buy because the eShop is gone. But what's even more of a shame is that we have this fantastic feature that Nintendo developed on the Nintendo 3DS and the 2DS. And now we have the Switch, which is the successor, and we don't have any form of StreetPass on that system. And at this point, it doesn't really feel like Nintendo has any need to. The Switch is selling so well. So how are we supposed to tell Nintendo that we actually want StreetPass to come back? That we want this? So this brings me to my final point. You. Imagine StreetPass is like a dream. If you believe in it and keep it in the conversation, it will never really die. If we continue playing our 2DS and 3DS systems and ask our friends to bring them out for StreetPass and bring them to public events like tournaments, game stores, concerts, and conventions, we can keep StreetPass alive. StreetPass will only fade away if we forget about it, a lot like we did back when the Switch first launched. But it's been proven now that it can be revived, just like we saw at PAX. And who knows, if we keep playing it and keep it in the conversation, maybe Nintendo will recognize that people actually do care about StreetPass and want to see it on Switch. Somebody should probably make a documentary about StreetPass. Like, there has to have been some couple that got married because of it, right? I would watch that. I really would.